Season 3 of the Trivia 10 has been so long and so stressful, it's making me start to lose my hair. Not actually, just got back from my haircut, but we are at the midpoint of the season. Things have changed. I've made some tweaks based on some feedback. Schedule's shifting around a bit. So now's the perfect time to check in and tell you what's changed for the back half of Season 3 coming your way starting next week. First big piece of news that we're going back to average ranking for the leaderboards. The average of your score on Tuesday, the Trivia 10, with Friday playing the real reveal, the average of where you stack up for your quad will be the top 4 that go on to the playoffs. So we did that in the first quad, and it worked out well. Second quad, I started adding the Tuesday and Friday scores, but that just didn't work. So going forward, how it's going to work is just like how it did in quad 1. Tuesday, you get your Tuesday leaderboard. If you're in 5th or 6th place, doesn't mean you're out of it. You're definitely going to be of concern, though. Friday, same thing, brand new rack and stack of 6. Then we're going to average those rankings to figure out where you land. Ultimately, in the top 4 average ranks, we'll be moving on to the quad playoffs. Now, for Season 1, we did it this way. If we did it the way where we added the 2 scores up, it would have gave us the same exact score. That's why I was like, oh, maybe that's a little easier. But then we got to quad 2, and we had a discrepancy here. But that's why I'm proud and happy to announce that we are going to be having a wild card round, because Kevin, by adding the scores, made it into the playoffs if you add his Tuesday and Friday, which to his credit is how I said we were going to be doing it going into the quad. Whereas Cam, if we did it the way we did it in quad 1 and the way we're going to be doing it going forward, would have been in the playoffs based on the average ranking. So because both of them are like 4th place based on how you score them, we are going to be having a wild card bout between the two. Head to head, winner goes on to be the official 4th seed of the quad. And how quad playoffs are going to work are just like how they have been. You have the 1 seed versus the 4 seed, 2 seed versus the 3 seed. But as we know, the 1 seed overall from the regular season automatically punches their ticket to the playoffs, just like George did. And the champion of the quadrant bracket will also be punching their ticket to the playoffs. And we have the 2 seed in orange there, because if the same person, so if George won the quad 1 championship, so he got the highest score in the regular season and he was a quad 1 championship, whoever gets 2nd place in the playoffs, whoever loses that championship match to the quad 1 winner, will be moving on as well. So for the example of George versus Doug was the 4 seed, but he made it to the championship. If George would have beat him and been the 1 seed and the top player overall, he would get the automatic ticket and he would get the higher seed because he was a champion of the quad. Doug would then be getting the consolation punch ticket to the playoff as well. And how that plays out here is the champion of the playoff is going to get that higher ranked seed in terms of Doug being the top left here, and then George is in the bottom right. He's going to be facing off against the quad 4 champion, whereas Doug will be facing off the quad 4 regular season number 1. So we have 2 out of the 8 people in the playoffs already locked in. And now taking a look at the schedule going forward, here's what we've already completed. We've already done the quad 1 regular season, we've done the quad 2 regular season, we've done the quad 1 playoffs, and starting next week, we'll be jumping right into the quad 3 regular season with 6 contestants. That'll take us from November 26th through January 3rd and into 2025. And then some slight tweaks to the schedule. We will go to the quad 2 playoffs after that from the 7th to the 17th. This has an asterisk by it, or it doesn't on your screen, but it should. Quad 3 playoffs is my plan right now. We might have to switch and do quad 4 regular season right after the 2 playoffs and then do 3 and 4 back to back, just because simply the scheduling is a nightmare for getting 2 people to compete against each other while me also hosting it. 3 people with our crazy schedules. And the playoffs are by far the hardest thing to do. So sometimes it's easier to just jump right into a regular season. But the plan right now, quad 2 playoffs, January 7th to January 17th, quad 3 playoffs, the 21st to the 28th. Then we jump into the regular season of quad 4, February 4th to March 14th, quad 4 playoffs, March 18th to March 25th. We're going to wrap up the season with the 8 people in the playoffs, the season 3 playoffs for the champion of the whole season, April 1st through April 22nd. And now lastly, I just want to say I'm always looking for feedback, always looking ways to improve, not only for season 4, which I would love ideas for what you would like to see coming forward, but again, I'm getting feedback from these episodes saying like, hey, tweak this for the game going forward, or hey, we should do average rating as opposed to adding the scores. And I'm implementing that feedback. So this is a continuously improving thing. Let me know your feedback in the comments down below on this video and any video for things I can incorporate this season and season 4. Would love to hear your feedback to continue making this the best movie trivia game in the multiverse. With that being said, new episodes every Tuesday and Friday, jumping right into quad 3 regular season next week, and I hope you have a great weekend.